Okay, today's lecture is going to be all about limits. So this is new material. We are working out of section 1.3 in the textbook. I want to start off with a visual example of a function where we have an intuitive sense of a limit. So my function is going to be the coordinates for a pendulum. Now, I don't have a pendulum on me. I've got my keys. That'll do well enough. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise them off to the side and just let them go to see what happens. And you probably know what's going to happen. Okay. So you can see there's this nice oscillating behavior. The keys move back and forth, and they appear to have come to a rest, minus my jiggling because I can't hold my hand steady. But let's think about the observations we can make that tells us that the keys actually have a destination, right? They start off from far away and they actually overshoot and they keep rocking back and forth. But every time they overshoot by less and less and less. So even though they're still moving a little bit, the displacement from their resting point is less on every single pass. So the further we go in time, or the longer that we're watching the keys, they stay in a closer neighborhood, you might say, of this x coordinate. Okay, so let's actually look at a graph that represents the path that my keys take. I'm only going to be concerned about the x coordinate. So I have drawn right here a graph using Desmos that models the x coordinate of my keys. So at time 0, I have moved the keys over to the side and they swing, they get to that resting point in the very middle of the pendulum action. They overshoot, they come back, they overshoot again, but less. They come back, they overshoot again, and so on. And every single time, there's this resting point where the keys will be lying in the middle of the pendulum or directly underneath my hand. And the way that we can tell this by observation is that even if the keys deviate from their final position, that deviation becomes less and less over time. So this is the intuition that we're going to be using when working with graphs of functions and being able to tell whether or not the graph of a function is coming to a limit. So my next videos on this will be looking at some nice looking functions and some not so nice looking functions and seeing what we can do with those. Stop recording.